Night Teeth. Hi, welcome to the recap room. In today's video, we'll be talking about a fantasy, horror and mystery film from 2021 entitled Night Teeth. Warning, spoilers ahead. The premise of the movie is set in a world where humans and vampires coexist. Most humans don't know anything about vampires because of a 1,000-year-old truce. The truce imposes 3 restrictions on vampires. First, don't let humans know about their existence. Second, don't feed on the unwilling. And third, never enter Boyle Heights without permission, which is a neighborhood in Los Angeles. Now the scene changes to a guy, Jay, going somewhere with his girlfriend Maria. He spots a car in his rear view mirror and the guy's Victor, a vampire. They look at each other for a few seconds, after which Jay speeds off to warn his friends. After pulling out to a building, he tells his girlfriend to go to her brother's house while he enters the building. There, he's shocked to see that all his friends are hung up and killed. Suddenly, he hears a loud scream from outside, so he rushes to check and finds his girlfriend missing. The scene then shifts to a college student, Benny Perez, who gets woken up by his teacher in a class. A girl in the back smiles at him, but his boyfriend quickly interrupts and shows his middle finger to Benny. After that, Benny sells a paper to a student for some quick money and skateboards his way home. He lives with his grandmother, who greets him in Spanish. Benny goes to his room, which is filled with anime posters and figurines. Here, we see that he is an aspiring DJ and he has created some tracks, which he'll soon release. Then he hears someone shouting in the next room and goes to check. Turns out it's Jay and the two are brothers. Jay's telling someone on the phone that he won't be available for his driving job that night. Benny overhears his conversation and asks if he can go instead. Jay brushes off the idea, as Benny neither has a license nor a proper suit. Soon after, Benny convinces Jay and he gives him the car keys. He tells him that the car starts with just one click and he should be careful not to leave a scratch on it. On top of that, he should only take guests where they want and then come straight back home. Benny agrees to all the demands and excitedly leaves to pick up the clients. At night, he stops outside a large mansion in Beverly Hills. A girl named Blair comes out, and Benny nervously introduces himself as a driver. Seeing her smirk, he asks what's going on, so Blair tells him that his zip is down. An embarrassed Benny zips his pants and apologizes. Now, a second girl, Zoe, comes and all of them get in the car. Zoe gives 5 locations to Benny and says they need to hit all 5 of these by the end of the night. On their way to the first location, the girls playfully bully Benny by asking him silly questions.
Enemies, you're just waiting to pop.
Soon, they reach their first location and Zoe and Blair enter the party by verifying their sapphires. Benny finds a similar sapphire on the ground and keeps it for later. Meanwhile, Jay meets one of his friends and tells him that Victor kidnapped his girlfriend and broke the truce, so they have to kill him tonight. The entire vampire hunting group assembles and gets to work. On the other hand, Zoe and Blair come out of the mansion and they head for their second location. Benny stays in the basement while the girls attend the second party. While studying his book, Benny finds Zoe's cell phone ringing, which he left in the car. He decides to check it along with the bag and finds a huge pile of cash with blood in it. This terrifies Benny and he tries to call his brother, but to no avail. He then sees a cop parking nearby, so he gets out of his car to avoid suspicion. He directly goes upstairs and the receptionist tells him that this is a member-only establishment, so she's calling someone. However, she calms down when Benny shows the sapphire he picked up earlier. The receptionist drops off Benny to Blair and Zoe, who are busy sucking the blood out of 2 men. Benny panics seeing this stuff, and Zoe picks him up with her bare hands. Here, the girls find out that Benny is Jay's brother, so they decide to use him to get to Jay. Then, Zoe and Blair start killing the 2 men, so Benny escapes and comes to the basement. He tries to tell the cop about all of it, but the cop arrests him instead. Turns out, the cop knows about vampires and the truths that exist. He leaves Benny at Zoe's command as he recognizes the girls and Victor. Benny attempts to call his brother, but Blair uses her super speed and breaks his phone. Now at Victor's place, we see that he keeps humans as blood source in his basement. After drinking some blood, he goes out in his car and arrives at his boss's house. There, he reveals his entire plan. Actually, there are 5 vampire bosses in LA, and he and Zoe are killing all of them in one night, so they can gain complete control over the city. Victor kills both the girls and leaves from there. Meanwhile, Benny and Blair are in the car and we see that they are starting to get closer. Blair tells him that Zoe is Victor's girlfriend and she's helping them take over LA. On the other hand, Zoe calls Victor and reveals his plan of using Benny to get Jay. Then, Jay arrives at the mansion of the first boss and finds him almost dead. He learns that Zoe and Blair did this to him and Victor is going after all the bosses. He leaves to follow up on him and the scene changes to the girls who are on their way to the third location. Their third destination is a club too and the crew directly enters as the security guard knows Zoe. However, Benny's college friends are waiting in line and request Benny to let them in. He doesn't know what to say, so his friends make fun of him by calling him a driver. Blair interrupts and kisses Benny before taking him with her. Then, they enter the club and find out that the boss has been replaced. The new guy knows their intentions, so he has bought his friends for security. They're about to shoot Zoe and Blair, but Benny suddenly hits the boss with a glass bottle. The girls take advantage of the opportunity and beat the rest of the guys. After killing the boss, the girls need a place to lay down and Benny takes them to his grandma's house. There, the grandma stitches the wound on Benny's hands and he and Blair get even more closer. They learn each other's interests, hobbies and goals. On the other side, Jay finds Victor in a bar and goes in. He angrily asks where Maria is, but Victor tells him to relax and sit down. Jay immediately shoots him in the head, but it doesn't matter. Victor heals from the wound and the scene ends there with Jay held captive. Now, Benny and the girls leave the grandma's house and meet the last boss, Rocco, who is crazy to say the least. He asks why did they come all of a sudden, and Zoe says just to meet her. Zoe needs to discuss some things with Rocco, so Benny and Blair leave them and sit near the pool area. The two soon get intimate and start making out, while Zoe gets ready with a special knife to stab Rocco. But unfortunately, Rocco is already aware of their plans and catches the knife midway. A fight breaks out between them and the girls finish the last boss too. They immediately try to run away, but Zoe gets hit by an arrow. The three somehow escape and Blair takes them to Victor's mansion. There, Blair tells Benny to go away because Victor will try to kill him. But Benny wants to save his brother at all cost and comes up with a plan. He parks the car at a certain angle and enters the house. He finds Jay in one of the blood-producing cells and tries to free him. Unfortunately, Victor catches him and presents him to Zoe and Blair. Zoe wants to drink Benny's blood, but Blair stops her and requests her to stop. An argument sparks up between the girls and Zoe stabs Blair with a knife. Benny has had enough of this and revives the car's engine, which directly breaks the glass wall, allowing sunlight to enter the room. Being a vampire, Zoe immediately turns into ashes. Now, Victor uses Jay to bait Benny out of sunlight and grabs his neck. He instantly bites him and sucks his blood. Blair attempts to save Benny and stabs Victor multiple times with a knife. However, Victor throws her away with just one slap. He moves toward Benny to kill him, but Jay gives him a suplex and Victor is exposed to sunlight. He burns away like paper and dies on the spot. Now Blair hugs injured Benny and then turns him into a vampire to save his life. The scene ends there with Blair and Benny biting each other. The following night, Blair picks up Benny from his college while his friends watch in awe. That was it for the recap, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that you are notified on our next uploads. Thank you for watching.